The Chosen has finished filming its grand Season 5, which will include some of the best-known moments from the scripture. From the triumphal entry of Jesus into Jerusalem to the Last Supper, and from the cleansing of the temple to the agony in the Garden of Gethsemane. Let's see what Holy Week looks like in The Chosen Season 5. Even though the Transfiguration of Jesus happens before the raising of Lazarus in the Gospels, the previous season did not include that major storyline. It turns out Dallas Jenkins is not planning on showing the Transfiguration on the screen, although it is considered one of Jesus' biggest miracles. When asked whether he would include the Transfiguration in Season 4, Dallas responded, "People keep saying the Transfiguration would be an important scene, and I'm confused as to why. What purpose would it serve our story?" Well, it's obvious that Dallas believes the Transfiguration doesn't have a place in The Chosen. In an interview, he confirmed this once again, saying he has no plans for the Transfiguration. So Season 5 won't include the big moment. However, no worries, Season 5 stays true to the Bible besides that. The season starts as we enter the last week of Jesus' life, the Passion as you know it. Jesus enters Jerusalem on a donkey with a huge crowd of people welcoming him into the city with open arms and palm branches. According to the Gospel of Matthew, a very large crowd spread their cloaks on the road, and others cut branches from the trees and spread them on the road. The crowds that went ahead of him and that followed were shouting, "Hosanna to the Son of David! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord! Hosanna in the highest heaven!" While filming the Holy Week, hundreds of extras accompanied the cast and the crew, and they did shout Hosanna, which was quite an emotional scene for all of them.
If you were in the first century and you were in that crowd, would you say Hosanna or would you say no Messiah?
Oh, Hosanna. Hosanna. This whole week, what a great place to spend my birthday.
In 3 of the Gospels, the cleansing of the temple arrives after the entry into Jerusalem. According to Dallas, this will be the most angry we will see Jesus. There's a BTS video where you can see Jonathan as Jesus looking around the temple and the people gathered in the market, and there's such sadness and disappointment in his eyes as he realizes what a corrupted place the temple grounds have turned into. The anger that follows will be incredible to watch. Then Jesus entered the temple and drove out all who were selling and buying in the temple, and he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold doves. He said to them, "It is written, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you are making it a den of robbers." The Chosen cast and crew also filmed the moment Jesus curses the fig tree for bearing no fruit. Behind the scenes footage shows that Jesus is in a very emotionally dire state, and John tries to comfort him by giving him a kiss on the head. What a lovely but heartbreaking moment. Of course, Jesus' glorious entrance into the city and the cleansing of the temple angers Caiaphas and the rest of the religious leaders, who start making plans to arrest Jesus. For this to happen, they have to convince Pilate that Jesus is a major threat. So Season 5 filming included a lot of moments where Pilate, Atticus, Herod, and Caiaphas were discussing Jesus and making plans, so do expect many scenes with these people as they plot to arrest and eventually kill Jesus. There was a moment with Judas talking to religious leaders as well, which tells us that his deal with them will be shown as a big scene as well. Then one of the 12, the one called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and asked, "What are you willing to give me if I deliver him over to you?" So they counted out for him 30 pieces of silver. From then on, Judas watched for an opportunity to hand him over. And this opportunity comes at the end of the season with the scene in the garden. I'll come to that in a minute. During the same week, Jesus also preaches to the crowds in Jerusalem and tells them a few well-known parables, and apostles reenact the stories like actors. This was a very long shoot for the Chosen actors, as the script was over 16 pages long, and most of the lines belonged to Jonathan as he was talking in parables. A part of this scene also included religious leaders coming and having a quarrel with Jesus' words. So Jesus' authority will be questioned, and Jesus in turn will criticize their hypocrisy. A very long and exciting scene is on the way, it looks like, but it has to end with Jesus being forced to leave as the danger gets closer. Of course, one of the key episodes in Season 5 will be the Last Supper. For 2 weeks, the cast and the crew filmed that night to properly portray Jesus on his last night before the crucifixion. A U-shaped table was prepared for the Last Supper. Jesus sat at the center with his most beloved disciple John on his right side and the betrayer Judas on his left. Although the table is not exactly biblically accurate, I'm guessing this setting made the filming a lot easier. For days, they shot the scene where Jesus tells everyone that one of them will be betraying him, the moment where Jesus washes the feet of his apostles, and of course, the farewell discourse where Jesus basically says goodbye to the apostles, tells them what will happen, and prays for them. Jonathan Rumi confirmed that they filmed the scene in the garden as well, so it is now known that season 5 will end with Jesus' arrest in the Garden of Gethsemane. Dallas was especially secretive about this scene. He usually doesn't care much about spoilers, but he didn't want to share anything during this period. Thankfully, Jonathan told us what would happen. So season 5 will end with Judas entering the garden with the religious leaders and Roman soldiers, having betrayed Jesus and ready to hand him out to authorities. I know all of you will cry so badly during that scene, I can already tell. While Jesus was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived. With him was a large crowd with swords and clubs from the chief priests and the elders of the people. Now the betrayer had given them a sign saying, "The one I will kiss is the man, arrest him." At once he came up to Jesus and said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. Jesus said to him, "Friend, do what you are here to do." Then they came and laid hands on Jesus and arrested him. Now, I'm gonna show you a clip of Atticus speaking to a character. Dallas deliberately doesn't show who the person is. I'm hearing Jonathan's voice. Listen and tell me who you think the person opposite Atticus is.
Really?
If it's Jesus, I'm so curious to see what kind of scene would include them sitting alone and having a chat. But if it's someone else, I wonder who it is. Tell me your thoughts in the comments for sure. You're probably wondering when season 5 is coming out. Although there's no official info about this, the estimated date is February or March 2025. After all this overwhelming information, if you want to watch some funny behind the scenes moments, check out this video.